Rita may be innocent, Rita may be the perfect girlfriend, but does she have blood on her hands when it comes to her ex-husband and Paul dying in prison? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment for another Dexter theory. This time, we're in Season 2, Episode 1, and Paul is in prison, and Paul doesn't like it in prison. He's been pestering, he's been phoning Rita. He is desperate for Rita's help. He keeps saying that Dexter is the one that put him in here. He's adamant that Dexter done something, drugged him, dragged him out the house. He lost a shoe. He needs a shoe. He seems to think a shoe will prove his innocence. Now, I understand that he thinks Dexter set him up. I don't understand how he believes a shoe is going to get him out of federal prison. I just don't understand it. The guy could have been drunk. The guy could have been ODing. He could have knocked his own shoe off. Just because he finds a shoe doesn't mean that Dexter somehow kidnapped the guy. Doesn't mean Dexter drugged him and dragged him out of the house. His shoe could have come off literally doing anything, but he's begging Rita for the shoe. He thinks that Dexter done something to him. Rita eventually tells Paul the truth. She says that, look, I did find a shoe after originally lying and said there was no shoe. She said she found the shoe, but the shoe doesn't prove anything. And essentially, the shoe is now on the other foot. Rita's the one in control. Rita's the one in the power. Paul has pretty much ruined her life for a long time now. She's not going to let it happen anymore. She wants to be happy with Dexter. She's not going to let Paul drag her down. And she hangs up the phone on Paul, basically saying, look, take responsibility for your own actions. You're in prison. Deal with it. Paul didn't like this. We've seen him smash up the phone in frustration. He was angry. Is it possible that Paul let his anger get the better of him? Now, some people might think that Paul only brought his anger out. He only picked on Rita. But I don't think that's true. I think we've seen Paul get angry in the show with Dexter too. We've seen when he confronted Dexter, he tried to intimidate Dexter. It didn't really work. But that doesn't mean that Paul necessarily wouldn't try and maybe do the same thing in prison, and maybe he let his temper get the best of him and he messed with the wrong person, because we later find out that Paul died in prison after a beatdown. Now, Rita does seem guilty. She seems like she feels bad. She thinks she's responsible for this because the shoe keeps getting brought up, and she realises that maybe Paul was telling the truth, and that if she had said something, she could have potentially got Paul out and prevented Paul from dying. And after confronting Dexter, Dexter finally admits the truth and says that yes, he did it. He did it to try and protect Rita. He did it to try and protect the kids and to put Paul away and to get Paul out of their life. Now, she might not agree with what Dexter done, but she can clearly see that Dexter did it for good reasons. But does Rita feel bad here? And should Rita have told the truth? Should she have mentioned the shoe? Despite it only being a shoe, Paul felt like that shoe was his key to getting out of prison. So should Rita have told the truth and went to the authorities and helped Paul's case to get out of prison? I mean, I think she probably should have, considering she is a nice person. She's not a liar. She's not vindictive. She's not evil. She's not anything like that. You know, she's pretty much this innocent, almost perfect woman that doesn't like liars, doesn't like violence, doesn't like anything, you know, that isn't nice. So I think she probably should, because despite what Paul done to her, we know that Paul done some horrible things to Rita, but that's not Rita. Just because Paul done horrible things to Rita, Rita's not the kind of person that in return would want to do horrible things back to Paul. And I believe that Rita would have done something about this. Had Dexter told her the truth before Paul died, I think Rita would have went out of her way to attempt to get Paul freed. Now, would that have meant possibly throwing Dexter under the bus and getting Dexter in trouble? Maybe, but I don't think Rita would have been happy living with herself if she knew that Paul was locked up inside for something he didn't do. But she didn't find out this information until after Paul was already dead. Therefore, there's no need to bring it up. There's no need to go to the authorities. There's no need to come clean, because you can't bring Paul back, and then doing that would only incriminate Dexter. But should Rita have saved Paul from prison? I think she should have. I think it's her character. I think it's in her nature to do so. And I think it would have made sense for Rita, despite the hell that Paul put her through, and despite how nice of a guy and how good Dexter was to Rita. I think it made sense for the Rita character to try and get Paul out of prison and tell the truth. However, I can totally see why some people would think, no, fuck Paul. Paul was an asshole. Paul treated Rita horrible. And why should Rita sacrifice her good life now with Dexter to get this scumbag out of prison? Maybe Paul was better off in prison. But I don't think that's how Rita thinks. I don't think that is her process. I think she's a good person and she wants to tell the truth despite the consequences of it. So guys, let me know down below, what do you think? What should Rita have done? In the end, she didn't do anything, and by the time she found out the truth, it was too late. Paul was dead. I think if she knew the truth earlier, she would have saved Paul. I think she would have got Paul out of prison, despite what that meant for Dexter. That's what I think, but let me know down below what you think. Do you think she made the right decision? And do you agree with her not helping Paul in the first place? Did Paul deserve to be in prison? Did Paul deserve to die? Let us know all that down below too in the comments. And I'll catch you in the next one. Until then though, peace.